last week, I'm not sure what the tally was yesterday, but as of Saturday, last week's illegal crossings of the Channel by chance of foreigners hoping to break into our country, which of course they all did successfully, was 816. Quite a massive amount for so early in the year. We're on course for a big total this year, trust me, because we don't have any deterrence. Now, let's talk about one case that proves. So 816 came across. They'll all cost us £40,000 a year. I'll work out how much that is in a minute. £40,000 a year each for 816 people, and every single last one of them will prove to be extremely difficult to get out of this country, whether or not we decide that their applications for asylum should be approved. It doesn't seem to make any difference whether or not they get their applications approved, because if they get them refused, they just appeal. And then they get them refused again, so they appeal again. And then they get them refused again, so they appeal again. And they keep appealing until some idiot in an industrial tribunal court, some guardian-reading judge, lets them stay. That is the system. Check out this guy, Muna Mia. He's from Bangladesh. He first entered this country illegally in 1998, 28 years ago. He was refused asylum. He seemed to manage to go completely missing till 2010. Then he was caught, so he applied to formally remain in Britain in 2012, but was refused. So he appealed and was refused. So he appealed and was refused, and he appealed again. He's currently involved, I think, in about his fifth appeal. We should have deported this guy, more than 2 decades ago. 28 years he's been in this country. Having the description of how he got into this country was, the official description is, quote, clandestinely. What does that mean? In other words, he broke into this country illegally. We finally caught him. We deported him. He's been appealing ever since. He's just been told to get out of the country again. What has he done? He's appealed again. So 28 years full of deportation orders, asylum application refusals, loads of appeals. The headline story is, after more than a quarter of a century, he's still here. This is the story of our migrant crisis. Our authorities just do nothing about this nonsense that anybody who arrives here just can carry on appealing until the cows come home, and therefore stay.
Well, it's exactly that. It really does epitomise just the sheer ridiculous now of this situation, this pinging backwards and forwards and back again between upper immigration tribunals, lower immigration tribunals. Sometimes he submits a new asylum claim with some new evidence. Other times he says that there's been a fault with the way the decision was taken. All the while, he is still an illegal migrant, and that seems to be forgotten in this whole debacle as we're extending to every due process that actually should really only be reserved for those here legally and are British citizens. He is absolutely exploiting the situation, and the sad reality is that there are thousands of others just like him doing the exact same thing, many of them still in asylum accommodation at our expense as well. But I think also the fact that he's made an appeal that because he's been here for so long illegally, he should probably now be given a legal migration status really does embody just the sheer the folly, the suicidal empathy of our immigration system. And actually, I think we have to ask questions as to how it was really even possible for an individual who's not got the correct paperwork, who really shouldn't actually be able to get a job, get a flat, or really exist officially in this country, has been able to live so comfortably for 27 years, sort of off the radar, going undetected. And I think actually that really gets to the heart of why we have over 1 million illegal migrants in this country, is because we don't do enough to deter them. They still can access healthcare, they can still access the rental market, the work market, and so forth. We need to go back to what Theresa May was trying to do and start creating a hostile environment that makes living in the UK without proper permission nigh on impossible.
Yeah, just to say, I've done the maths. I think I'm right that 816 migrants who came across the channel when our only deterrent, the weather, didn't hold up. We had nice weather last week, so 816 came across. That's going to cost us more than £326 million over the next year. Good, isn't it? Absolutely.
Well, and then over the course of their lifetime as well, of course, it'll be about 500,000 per individual. So these are huge numbers.
It is so crazy. Now, Shabana Mahmood, the hardline, tough-talking Home Secretary, who we keep being told is the one to solve this migrant crisis. No shabs unless you leave the European Convention on Human Rights. You've got about as much chance of solving the migrant crisis as all your useless predecessors, the other Home Secretaries who did nothing but talk tough. Why, when she announced her big crackdowns, we're going to review their refugee status every 30 months. Oh, big deal. We're going to make sure that criminals, if they break the law, they won't be able to stay in that taxpayer-funded accommodation. Oh, whoop-de-doo, great. Why were they allowed to stay there in the first place? Why did she not announce this? At the very least, what I would announce is if you turn up here illegal, if you come across the channel in an unlawful vessel and you try to break into our country, you negate your right to asylum. End of. However, that would be, a pipe dream on my part for the Labour government to announce something sensible like that, wouldn't it? But how about she announced that from now on, when an asylum seeker comes here, a migrant, and applies for asylum, and that application gets refused, we allow them one appeal, and if that is refused, that's it, you go. The idea that appeals can be lodged ad infinitum, that there's no limit on the amount of appeals you can lodge, is ridiculous, because what it means is once we say, no, I'm sorry, we've decided you can't stay, the migrants go, oh, we'll see about that, I'm going to appeal again. It's absurd.
Well, if she wants to solve this problem, she doesn't just need to leave the ECHR, she needs to leave the Labour Party, because, of course, her backbenchers aren't going to allow her to do anything remotely sensible on this. But when it comes to the appeals, the Tories were introducing, at the end of their time in government, plans that would have made it impossible for someone that had come into the country illegally to make any asylum claim. But actually, what Mahmood's done is she has watered it down. She has said that they might try and limit it to one appeal per individual. I don't think that will ever actually take off because, of course, we have the human rights supremo still calling the shots. And actually, I don't think there's enough focus really on these plans that she has put forward to give illegal migrants a route towards settlement and therefore a route towards citizenship. So not just that they will be able to appeal asylum, but they'll be able to stay indefinitely. And then, of course, we've started now hearing these rumblings about the safe and legal routes as well that she wants to create. There's talk of one coming into force in 2027. I think also actually we'll probably start seeing clamouring for some to be created in the Middle East this year as well as a result of the turmoil there as well. So actually the plans and the tough line measures, the sort of review every 30 months, the sort of kicking the criminals out of the asylum accommodation, they fall apart under the most basic of scrutiny and they won't be implemented. But actually it's the softer stuff that she's hidden behind the tough rhetoric, which is the most terrifying, because these are things that really, really would transform the way our asylum system operates, and unfortunately not for the better.
And what way do you think Shabana Mahmood and other idiots in the Labour government think? In what way do they think that the people of Britain are going, oh, fantastic, when they announce, you know what we're going to do, rather than have them come across the channel illegally, we're going to create loads and loads of safe legal routes for them to arrive. We're going to make it easier for them to come here, and we're going to sponsor their journeys from now on. On what planet does Shabana Mahmood think that's going to be popular? Safe and legal routes. I got a better idea. No routes. That's an idea, isn't it?
And it's a brilliant idea. No one cares whether the individuals are on the boats, on bicycles, aeroplanes, hang gliders. It's just the simple fact that they are coming to Britain, and they're coming to Britain in such large numbers, actually making it easier for individuals to get a foothold in the UK and then start bringing over family members as well, is a terrifying prospect. And plus, it won't even stop the boats, because actually those individuals that don't qualify for a safe and legal route but still fancy a life of Riley in Britain, they're still going to be getting on the boats as well. So she's not going to have solved the problem on that front either. And this is just goes to show the Labour Party don't, on any philosophical or ideological basis, really get why this issue is so animating the British public. And it is because it is an erosion of our communities. We're seeing an attack on our communities. We're seeing a huge fiscal cost. And the small boats are really the tip of the iceberg when it comes to just the sheer numbers that are coming in and have come in recent years.
Yeah, and last week, 816. That's a hell of a lot. I think it was 4 or 5 days in a row, hundreds of them coming across. So once again, revealing that this Labour government, and to be fair, governments before it, the Tories as well, have put up no deterrence to these people, just the weather. When the weather's nice, they will come across, and they will come across in their droves. And if there's any Labour Party members, politicians out there, we don't care about safe and legal routes. We want no routes. Unbelievable. Undamn believable.